The man who melted after staying in the bath too long. Children who complain about being taken out in the rain are rightly told that they are not sugar mice and so will not melt. It is perhaps understandable then that they are confused that the same advice does not apply to baths. The difference is clear though. While cold raindrops have little effect on a healthy person, total immersion in any liquid warmer than skin temperature causes the body to quickly begin to melt, with deadly consequences. Total submersion in water is extremely unhealthy as it washes away the natural oils and those protective particles that a person picks up from their environment. The natural coating of the skin is an essential part of the immune system. Without an adequate layer of grease and natural oils and soils to protect our skin and inner organs from harmful external processes, humans and other mammals quickly sicken and die. The unhealthy nature of bathing notwithstanding, the deadly threat it imposes takes another, more sinister form. The process by which a living person melts in water is thought to pass through the usual scientific phases of matter. This is what the layperson might call an educated guess, as no living person has ever witnessed another melting in a bath, or at least no one who has cared or dared to report it. To begin to comprehend how a body might melt in a bath, it is important to understand states of matter and changes of phase. Phase 1, solid. This is the usual form of the human body. As the body is 100% solid, it is considered to be a frozen object, irrespective of its temperature. The body is around 60% water, and so, of course, being immersed in liquid water reminds the body that the natural state at this temperature is liquid. Change of state 1, melting. The first application of wet heat to the frozen body begins the melting process. It is interesting to note that there have been no reports of people melting in baths at more than 2,000 feet above sea level. More research in this area would be useful, though has yet to be approved by a medical research ethics committee, despite campaigns from interested parties. Phase 2, liquid. The body has melted in the warm bath. The 60% water content of the human mixes invisibly with the bath water, leaving the remaining 40% immiscible liquid floating as a fatty scum on top of the bath. Change of state 2, evaporation. Liquid becomes vapour. The rate of evaporation varies depending on the temperature of the bath and the alcohol content of the melt. Phase 3, gas. The rapid evaporation of the body after melting is the only explanation for the lack of proof of melting. In a bathroom where a body has melted, the air is filled with particles of evaporated melted human, and so it is advisable to hold one's breath or risk filling the lungs with a loved one. My own husband melted in a long bath. On the 23rd of March 1979, during a particularly wet spring, he locked himself in the bathroom for a soak. I had warned him many times to avoid baths wherever possible, and to keep heat and immersion to a minimum if he absolutely couldn't help having a bath, and I couldn't see why people had to keep so clean anyway. After 3 hours of silence from the bathroom, I broke in to find the bath empty but for a floating dog end of a cigarette. I immediately held my breath to prevent his entering my lungs, then noticed that the window was wide open, allowing his vapour to escape. I will never forget the net curtains swaying sadly in the breeze. I can only imagine the scene as he melted away into nothingness in the tepid water. If these walls could talk.